Hello, welcome back. We're going to be exploring a brand new library. This is the Chula Vista Library located in F Street. I have never been inside. I think I've only driven past this maybe once or twice in my life. I didn't realize it was that big, so I'm gonna have so much fun exploring this one. I thought it was gonna be a smaller location. So this one is the Civic Center branch. We are looking good. We have a library return right here. The Chula Vista Police is across the street. This is like the Chula Vista Center. This is what the library looks like. Well, at least like this portion, all of that is also the library. I'm actually really looking forward to exploring this one. It just looks very promising. This building does look a little bit old. I mean, you can kind of see from here, and it's an older area in Chula Vista. Oh look, art. And then we have a park right here too. That's the back side of the library. It has a lot of windows. Oh, the natural lighting must be really good. And here we have the park, which looks really beautiful. I will say if you come here, you will encounter homeless people since there's a lot of the city's resources right here. It just makes it easier for them to live a more normal life and get access to those resources. So there's that, but they don't bother you, so you should be good. But now let's make our way inside of the library. Let's see what we can find in the teen section as well as the adult section as well. I'm excited. When you walk inside the library, you're first greeted by old pictures of Chula Vista. But did you know that the library was founded since 1861 in this area alone? That's 20 years before the city of Chula Vista got officially recognized. And in this front area of the building, not only do you find old pictures of Chula Vista, but we also have the used bookstore as well. This library is really big, so we have all of that. There's like 2 big rooms, and then all of that, I'm not going to go in, but that is the children's section. It is pretty big. There is this feeling that I get when I explore new areas, especially new areas with very tall buildings. This feeling, I could only describe it as a childhood sense of wonder that gets triggered whenever I explore an unfamiliar place. So we have a Chula Vista Heritage Museum, and right now they have the Filipinos of South Bay exhibit. This is so cool. In case you guys didn't know, there's a very large Filipino population here in the city of Chula Vista. So this is really neat to see. So this particular exhibit is a collaboration between 3 local Filipino organizations in San Diego County. This exhibit features not only artifacts from the Philippines before Spanish colonization, but it also shares the history throughout the 20th century. And it also highlights some important Filipino figures in areas like entertainment, sports, as well as education. So now that I know that this library also has a small museum is really great to know. But that's not all, because this library has a very large selection of physical media. We're talking Blu-rays, DVDs, and about 185,000 books. And that is not all, because they also offer passport services at this library as well as veteran services. And just look at this architecture. This particular library was built in 1976, and since this building is now 50 years old, it still has a lot of charm and a lot of the quirks that were seen in older architecture. And this bookshelf was, it was so beautiful. I love the squiggly lines in the shelves. And not only does this library have a very large selection of English books, but you'll also find a large selection of books in Spanish, since the city of Chula Vista has a high Hispanic population. And after doing a lot of wandering around, I finally found the manga section. Is actually very close to the front, right behind all the DVDs and Blu-rays, so very easy to find. I just completely missed it when I did my first walk around. And here we have it, Fruits Basket, like I said, a staple among San Diego libraries. If I can best describe the selection of manga at this library, It's a time capsule. Here we have Astro Boy, which began serialization in 1952, Yu Yu Hakusho, that began serialization in 1990. So if you want to go back in time and explore out-of-print titles, this library has a lot of older series. Here we have Hanakimi, the shoujo one-shot Socrates in Love, Ottoman, which is by the same creator as Requiem of the Rose King, and then I found a series I have not yet seen. This is Oh My Goddess, which is a fantasy rom-com published by Kodansha in the same monthly magazine as Skip and Loafer is now published. From what I know, this series is quite hard to find secondhand, and I'm not entirely sure if all 48 volumes were published in English. Then I found Guru Guru Bonchan. This is a shoujo rom-com from 1998. Started flipping through and I spotted this dog with some very flirty lashes, and I thought the artwork was absolutely adorable. It obviously has that like really old school shoujo artwork that I really gravitate towards, but the doggies were so cute. Another out-of-print shoujo series that I've had the interest of reading for the longest time is Please Save My Earth. This is a sci-fi shoujo series, but it is very hard to find. If you think shoujo is just all fluffy high school romances, then Descendants of Darkness will prove you wrong, and it's actually still in serialization, funny enough. Since a lot of the titles at this library were older titles that I was completely unfamiliar with, such as More Starlight to Your Heart, I started flipping through these series just to get a feel of the story and also see the artwork. And the artwork is very retro. It is something that looks familiar, but yeah, this was the very first time I'm flipping through the pages, and I did not expect this to go from rom-com to like extremely dark. So not only does this library have more niche titles, but you can also find popular shounen series as well. We had a lot of Naruto available at this library, a lot of Bleach as well. If you like Prince of Tennis, I did find a few volumes for that series. So they do have some titles that are still quite popular till this day. And I'm very happy that this library has preserved a lot of these out-of-print titles. We have Satch Bell, which was picked up by Viz Media and unfortunately cancelled, so they only published 25 out of the 33 volumes in English. Since a lot of these titles are out of print, and sadly I was not able to find volume 1s of every single series, I was very happy when I stumbled across a very old Shoujo Beat one-shot, which I know we don't get those nowadays. I kind of wish we still did get one-shots from Shoujo Beat, but alas. This one-shot is titled Yume Kira Dream Shop, and it is a fantasy shoujo. I thought the artwork was absolutely adorable, so I ended up picking this out to read at the library that day. And then I spotted a series that I have yet to stumble across in my library tours. This is Crimson Hero. This is a sports shoujo series that unfortunately, much like Satch Bell, it was also not translated completely. So Viz Media picked it up, only printed out a few volumes of the series, and then cancelled it. And unfortunately, it is one of the more important Hanato Yume series. This was one of the series that they highlighted during their 50th anniversary, and I cannot read it because it is not available officially in English. But I did spot a series that is very close to me, and that is Inuyasha. I still remember staying up so late at night and watching Cartoon Network until Inuyasha would eventually show up. If you do eventually come to this library, just look for this sign and just make a little turn and you'll see all the manga section. But I ended up picking up Yume Kira Dream Shop, like I said. This is the fantasy shoujo following a mysterious shopkeeper named Rin. And she is the owner of Yume Kira Dream Shop, a magical storefront shop where people come in hoping for their wish to be granted. But the wish does come at a cost of something dear to the customer. This one shot does feature 4 different stories, all kind of following that same format, but all of them have this unifying theme of hope. It's not Rin's magic that is causing the wish to come true. It is the person's hope for that wish that actually makes it come true. I did get a little bit hungry, so I left the library for a little bit to go to a nearby Panera and just relax and get something to eat. I happen to be a soup girl, so I got myself some pumpkin soup and a sandwich, and I just enjoyed myself until I had the energy to go back to the library. And now that I'm back at the library, I was very determined to finish reading Yumekita Dream Shop. I just wanted to get it done, return the book, and then go off and explore a different library on another day. If I can inspire you to check your local libraries, even if you have to drive a little bit further to get to them, I highly recommend you to do so because you get exposed to different titles that you normally wouldn't see in bookstores. Obviously, this is out of print, so I wouldn't typically get the chance to even pick up this title nowadays, but I ended up really enjoying that one shot. I logged it in my manga journal and called it a day. So I finished reading Yumekita Dream Shop. It was a one-shot from the early 2000s that shoujo published back then, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, it had a fantasy element, and it taught you a lesson that you can achieve anything as long as you truly have hope. You know, kind of cliche, but in a nice way, honestly. So I really enjoyed it. The manga section wasn't the best, but it had its hidden gems and it had a lot of older titles. So if you're looking for newer manga titles, this is not the library for that. But if you want to take a trip down memory lane, then you might enjoy some of the older titles that are available. Unfortunately, like with Crimson Hero, that is I think a 20 volume series, and I was only able to find volume 1, 3, and 5, I think. So it was very incomplete. Yeah, the library was just so open and full of like seating options. When I went back, they had a fidget spinner little class for kids, which was really cute to see. And I just like seeing the libraries used as community centers with a lot of families and people using their resources. So overall, this was a pretty good library. Maybe not the best for manga, but regardless, I still had a lot of fun. And I think with that, I'm going to end this video. I got to get back home to my dogs. I still have my little drink from Panera. But I hope you're enjoying the library tour so far. There are still quite a lot of libraries. I still haven't made my way up more north of San Diego, so maybe. Maybe I'll conquer those next. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!